For this part, we're going to add the smaller details now that we're done with the base sculpt. And for smaller details, I am talking about cracks that we're going to apply to some of the pillar parts. And I'm also going to add and sculpt in some ornaments to the bottom and the top piece, and some minor detail for the middle of the pillar. So I'm starting by going and getting my crack brush. I have downloaded the Orb Cracks brush from the internet. You can do a Google search and find this one on your own, because this is a very good brush to add some crack detail. If you don't have it, you can also use the Dam Standard brush, which you can find by entering your brushes, hit D, and click the Dam Standard brush and apply cracks in the same fashion like this. But as a comparison, the other brush I'm using has a nicer and sharper outline, which is perfect for cracks. So I would suggest that you find this brush and use this one. Okay, when I'm adding cracks, I'm looking at the object and I'm thinking about where it would make the most sense to add them and not just add them randomly. So for example, I'm going to add cracks to this part of the object because the pillar rests under the ceiling, so I'm guessing the weight of the ceiling is adding some cracks to this area because the weight here is very heavy. So I'm going ahead and do this, and it's just really thinking a little bit about what would happen to the shape and then applying some cracks. Something like this. And because there's so much weight, I'm making this a lot deeper here. Something like this. And then I'm going back to my trim dynamic brush and add some edge damage here as well. Going back to the crack brush to make sure the crack is still visible. And add some more detail. So it's a very deep one up here. Like this. And then I'm also looking maybe at one side of the pillar. Let's do the same here. Maybe not as big. Maybe have that one go until the edge. Something like this. And then I'm adding again some edge damage to it. Then I'm doing the same for the middle part, because maybe this one resting on that one, because it's so much bigger, has made some damages to this part. And maybe it has split here. And then I go and add some more edge damage. And you can repeat this process over some parts of the model. Just make sure it's not completely random and maybe not too much. So we have a good balance of clean areas and some damaged ones. Going to rotate this, maybe have another one here. Make the top a bit bigger so we can apply a bit more damage. And repeat this process for some parts of the model. Once we're happy with this, we're going to add some more minor detail like I'm going to do. For this you can use the cracks brush again and just make some slashes at the edges, for example. Like there was a sword fight going on and one piece of the stone got hit. Or what you can also do is create alphas, like in this example, where I'm going to take an alpha and drag it onto the surface. You can find masks for this all over the internet or make your own. It's entirely up to you. But if you use alpha mask, this will speed up your process by a lot. And I'm going to use these to add some damage to the edges. When you're done with that, we can add some last surface detail, and for this I'm going to go into my brushes, hit S and select the standard brush and make it smaller, and by holding Alt I can add some of these surface details in there that make it look a bit more cartoony. Alright, let's add some ornaments. Keep in mind that these pieces aren't very big, so if you want to go into super detailed shapes, you can do that, but you will probably not be able to see it that well on the texture. So I'm going to choose some very simple shapes that are recognizable very fast. For the top, because I have a triangular shape that is getting smaller at the bottom, I'm going to create some sort of sword. And I'm just going to draw it in by holding Control and using my mask to paint. So just start doodling, and it can be very rough at the beginning. Make it a bit smaller, so maybe here it comes together. Maybe this kind of tall. And I'm going to add the handle. Maybe go with the shape a little bit, make it triangular as well. Add an extension here, and then add the last part of the handle. And then when I hold Control Alt, then I can also delete the mask I've painted. Although I like this kind of thicker and thinner shape, so I'm going to do that again. And make sure I have everything filled out. And then I'm going to make it really sharp at the end. Something like this. Remove some here. It doesn't need to be perfect as far as I'm concerned. And maybe add some negative space. Let's do something like this. Now, while holding Control, I'm getting the rectangle to clean this up a bit. So I'm holding Control Alt and drag the parts of the mask away that I don't want to make it a little more clean.